feel that grooving, guys. Welcome to the show. We're going to be going live shortly. Please let me know if you're in the channel, if you're with us, if you're excited for the new year, excited for the new games. We're positive. So stick around. We're going to be going live shortly. Let's go. Welcome everyone to the last show of 2021. And I think what a hell of a year it's been, talking about personal experience. I hope everyone's safe and comfy. I hope everyone's doing well. Smokey, Smiles, how are you guys doing? How's the week been treating you?
How's it, How's everyone?
Yeah, what else, Smokey? I'm still in. Everyone's good.
Oh, good. So, guys, I think without wasting too much time, let's actually jump into the news. I actually want to just have a discussion around MicroStrategy that's yet again now bought a lot of Bitcoin. We know they're the biggest institutional backer of in the crypto space. So for them buying in, we can see a lot of institutions following the suit as well. And I think, continuing the news, going into the new year, ETFs coming, I think a lot of people are going to see the biggest possible bull run coming. We can't predict when, but we know it is definitely coming. And then another side news, another cool thing to also mention is Visa has already more than 60 partnerships around the world, being able to accept crypto payments. So that's also a big boost, I think, to the retail economy, as we're going to see a lot of stores and people now accepting crypto in order to transact value with them. So without that being said, I think, Stones, let's go to the chart. What do you have to say to us? Smokes.
Yeah, 100%. So let's have a look at our friend Bitcoin and see what's been happening. This has been truly a very interesting week. A lot of indecision, as the market ranges and tries to break above the $52,000 to $52,500 level. Now, we've seen in the past, and we've mentioned this in the past, that should Bitcoin fail to break this $52,000 to $52,500 level, we can expect a retracement. Now, we did see a lot of price inefficiencies being filled, and we can see that we are respecting sort of the demand around this sort of level here that we can see as these candles are filling up. But yeah, I mean, it's been interesting looking at the lower time frames this morning and trying to sort of gauge what price is doing really. Now, in our private chat, we did map out this, and we saw this potential, bullish move for today on this Thursday, as we saw a sharp sort of a pullback and correction move on the Wednesday, throughout Wednesday. So we did expect a sort of a bullish run now for today on this Thursday, which is normally a retracement day. What we are hoping to see is that we can break above the 48,125 sort of level to the 48,250 level. So roughly about this region here. We just refine it slightly. So about that region there, we want to see Bitcoin break above this level, ideally close above this sort of range, and then we can expect a continuation as we try and aim for these higher highs that we've got on the higher time frames. Now, it is a bit of a push, and as we expected, Bitcoin to sort of have a bigger rally for December earlier, which didn't seem to happen. And that's why our job as analysts and as traders is never to predict the market. Instead, we want to see what price is doing and react off of what price is showing us, so that we can take an objective approach in the market. Because if you are setting yourself up for too high expectations, or if you are trying to force your opinion on the market, you must remember the market does what the market wants to do. We cannot control the market, and as traders, we can only control our own emotions, our own setups, trades, rules, and discipline. So we need to practice that patience and discipline in our trading strategies going forward into 2022, and also look at how we can improve on being objective in the market. Now, we've been quite busy with rolling out the content for the TradeAcade University this week, which has been really interesting and exciting as well, but also quite time consuming, and we hope to get that out to you this coming January in 2022. So we're going to try and keep you guys as updated as possible on that. The first course is going to be completely free. There's roughly about 38 modules in there, which is going to be quite awesome, teaching you guys what we talk about when it comes to market structure, because we believe that market structure is king. and that's how you need to read and incorporate that into your trading strategies or even in your investment strategies going forward. So just keep an eye on that. Smile, what do you have to say? What are you seeing in the market? I know we've been chatting the whole day and watching Bitcoin quite closely, but what do you have to say about the outlook for 2022 and for this current year that we are in, and the price of Bitcoin and the rest of the market?
Yeah, all right, thanks Moki. All right, let's quickly dive into a chat. Yeah, this morning we had in our private chat, we had a chat together, sitting together, seeing and checking the probability of what will happen next in the market, right? So this is exactly, so checking down from the 4 hours time frame, starting from the 4 hours time frame, checking and marking out the previous structures that has occurred, we can see that even from the right moment we started dropping, that is around from the zone of 52,209 to 51,302. I think we started to drop from that zone, and we can see the zone where we started the zone from is more like an inducement, like a liquidity inducement, trying to bring in, trying to entice shorters to come into the market. And look and see what happened. Well, there was a liquidity swipe. Like we swipe up the previous high and we started selling down. That is more like change of character before we have the rebreak of market structure to the downside. Now, when I was chatting with Smokey, Smokey called my attention to some key psychological zones about that demand zone we have, more like a support. That is around 46,386 to 45,423. Yeah, we do expect a certain move from that direction, and it was so magical that the chart we had this morning went as we predicted, like as how we thought it would go. But right now, I think for us to have another move, because even checking on the 1 hour time frame, I think we had a demand to supply flip already, right? A supply to demand flip already. But the break, I'm not satisfied yet with the break. We just broke a supply that is around 47,527 zone. That zone is more like a minor supply zone, but we broke it with just a week actually. So to me, I can't confirm that as a change of character until I see some confirmation of full candles above that zone. And checking your chart on the 1 hour time frame, you can see there is a liquidity above, there's money above. That is around 48,001. $119. Yeah, there is liquidity there, which I declare another 1,495, and we're on 48,936. These zones we are that I'm pointing out. These zones are the zones that I'm looking at for price to break before I can conclude that a lot of momentum are coming into the market. But right now, I think we should just allow the market to do its thing, for market to break and clear all those liquidity, so we can know that okay, now demand
No, 100%. I think it's important to remember that if we want to see price break above these levels, we need to see a candle body.
Demand is in control. Buyers are in control. Sellers are.
You're breaking away there, Peter. How's it? Smile. I think we're going to continue on that. Stoney, can you tell us, you've said that MicroStrategies has asked more, as has bought in more into Bitcoin. What was that figure for MicroStrategies that they bought into the market?
Well, that's around around $94.2 million that they bought in. So I think that's one of the whale pushes we can definitely see on the charts. And I think that before that move down, if I'm looking at the chart, that down candle before the up move, I think that's where you can kind of see them coming in, because that's around about then when the news came out as well. So I think the markets did react shortly after they announced it as well. So this might be the start of a move up.
Yeah, look, definitely we have to see that candle break the full body candle, at least 50% of the body candle above this sort of region here, like Smile has pointed out to us. So we need to see a bit of a stronger push up to sort of really validate that. Now, what we also note is that, on the 28th and 29th, typically in the month, now some people say it's, future contracts expires and all of this, but, from a sort of layman's term, what that is at the end of the month, most people wait till the last day of the month to pull out their cash and pay themselves. So a lot of the times on the 28th and 29th, we see this, well, that's the 30th, but on the 28th and 29th, we see that people tend to, extract money out of the market before we see a continuation into sort of the first, couple of days of the new month. And that's also why we see this push, I believe, apart from, MicroStrategies being a heavy investor in the market, and obviously they are able to create these massive impulse, candles, where us as retail traders, we cannot really move the market this much. Like, we won't even make like a small blip on these, bigger time frame candles.
So how are we certain that these institutions like MicroStrategy and these kind of companies aren't just pushing up price right now before the new year starts and pushing it back down for, obviously, there's no reason for them to start a bull run at the 40,000 level, if it makes sense. Is there what else on the chart can we see as a strong confluence that tells us this might be a point to turn?
Well, the key thing for me is, looking at market structure, because once the candles print, because we must remember that the charts are, showing us the psychology of the market. Now, if we look at it from a higher time frame perspective, that is where big institutions like your MicroStrategies, your JP Morgans, your commercial banks, and those guys are playing in. They are playing because they've got so much cash in the market. They have to literally look at these higher time frames and look at where, their positions is going to be. Also, what they do want to do is they want to wait and see when the volume in the market is low. Now, a lot of the typical traditional traders, like the big, money traders, most of them are on leave. So if I put up my volume indicator, not that I use volume because I use the candles to show me volume, but if we look at volume, for instance, we can see clearly the volume is quite down. And this is the best time for institutions and big money to buy into the market, because there's very, very little volume in the market, which means that when the retailers come and they invest, that helps them obviously fill their orders, so they can essentially market order without having to place limit orders where people and other institutions can see their big orders coming into the market. So they can literally market order, and as the traders come back and as the retail traders, the little guys, come and get into the market once the price is low, that just fills the orders and that starts rallying the market. So from that perspective, and looking at the current structure, I just want to delete this volume because I don't use it. For me, it's unimportant at this time. Now, if we can look at what price is showing us, I'm just going to delete the zone as well, just so we can see the candles. We can see that the candles, if we just look at it without understanding candle theory, if we just look at the size of the candles, we can see that the candles are abnormally large. It's not your average candle. So, which means that when you see these type of candles where it's like a doji, where it's gone up to the one side and gone up to the other side, that's just obviously filling price inefficiency and filling unfulfilled orders. And we can see, like with these big candles, they pushed price down, grabbed obviously liquidity, grabbed the orders that was resting below all the stop losses. They stop hunted these orders sitting here, and that helped push them to get their orders in so that they can push price up. Now we've seen this battle where price goes up, they take profits, they push the market down. We can see with these big candles, again, it's bigger than your normal candle, and this is where the institutions and the big money is, and they are pushing the price as they go, mitigating their orders and spreading their risk, taking profits here and there as they go, to obviously limit their exposure too much, so that we as retail traders can't see their footprint as much. So, but we can see, like, look here, today we see a nice rally here. We had a push down again to obviously mitigate all this price inefficiency created by this impulse move, then corrected, and now we're seeing this push up. So what I'm anticipating for this evening is to potentially see one or two things. We are going to see a continuation of this sort of rally, hopefully breaking above the $48,125 to $48,250 level before seeing a continuation into Friday, which is essentially the last day of the month. But also being Fridays, we normally anticipate a bit of a rally in the crypto market up until, depending obviously on the day and the time of year and all of that, we can expect a rally sort of up towards sort of 11 o'clock tomorrow night. But we can also expect sort of a typical correction, coming down, grabbing some last bit of orders before we see the start of the rally sort of for tomorrow, heading in towards the weekend. Although I'm not expecting too much, volatility this weekend, but we can expect from about 8 or 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, we can expect some retail movement in the market where we will see a bit of volatility. But it's going to be quite interesting to see on Saturday morning how this happens. And then going into next week, I expect maybe Monday, if we have a bullish weekend, we can expect maybe a pullback sort of Monday morning into the morning. And if we see a continuation on Monday morning, sort of in a bullish nature, we can expect a pullback on sort of Monday evening, Tuesday morning, before we see a rally continuation into the sort of fresh new week as we go about. So that's what I'm anticipating for this, few days that's coming. It's going to be quite interesting to see. We'll have to see what price does so that we can have clarity of what the objective is. But I do believe that we are going to start seeing a rally sort of into the sort of 8th to 10th of January potentially, if price holds and we see this bullish order flow continuation keep momentum. But again, I say this and I highlight this, if we do not break above, should price rally up and should we fail to break above the $52,500 level, we are still expecting a correction further down. So we can see a rally up until that point potentially, just to mitigate some orders. But if we do not break that range, that key range that we've been talking about, since early December, you can expect a move lower down. But I think looking at all the institutions that are buying, I do think that we will see, a rally starting maybe in January when the big institutions are back and they are ready to obviously start playing with the market again and pushing more price. And that's it from me.
I'm wondering,
I don't know if you want to add anything there.
I'm very curious to actually see.
Yeah, Smokey, I really want to chip in something. I'm checking your 1 hour time frame. You can see even where we break this minor supply zone, that is around 47,527. As in, we broke that zone, we broke that minor supply zone with just a week. So I'm thinking from a trend line liquidity aspect, I'm thinking price is creating this liquidity, this trend line liquidity that it might possibly grab before going up, before going to the liquidity above. Because I'm thinking we are like we ended we had a rally this morning, actually just a little bit rally. I think over this mid-90 tomorrow we might see another drop actually to the hidden demand zone that mitigated the support right? You can see we rejected a demand zone with a week. Actually, that's a good sign. But from the trend line aspect, I'm thinking we might, price need to grab liquidity to move efficiently. So I'm thinking that price might just come down to take out all the old money on the trend line, then start going up again. Or what do you think?
Yeah, we can definitely see some potential in that region, moving down. We don't know exactly what the market's going to do to the T, but we can, map out the structure and follow that process. Currently, we are obviously building, bullish order flow, which obviously creates liquidity to the downside, but we also have a lot of liquidity to the upside here, sort of building these steps as we go. So we can definitely expect some push up. Like if we look at our pricing models and stuff, I can definitely say that, looking at how the structure is, if we hold and we break above this level, we can definitely target the highs. But if we fail to break this supply zone, like you've mentioned, we could potentially see a reversal first, grabbing obviously some unfulfilled orders before seeing a continuation to the upside.
Exactly. That was what I was trying to say.
So definitely, I think, look, guys, it's been a long year. I think we've got quite a couple of things that's on the cards for this year that's really exciting. I think I would also like to thank our subscribers, thank our Moonacade members, and the community. It's been really great for this year, starting the new projects and looking at all the stuff that we've got lined up for next year. It's going to be really exciting. So I do want to thank the people that's been supporting us. And remember, if you like the content and if you want to get involved, get in touch with the Moonacade members and community and see how you can get involved.
I'm happy. It's just before we end off, guys, for this year, just from a personal perspective, are you guys bullish or bearish as of the end of 2021? What's your personal take on that?
So for me, looking at the high time frames, I am still overall bullish personally. Like these corrective moves that we've seen, for me, it's not from a market structure perspective. Looking at the weekly, we are still following this bullish order flow. So we can see this corrective move, we can see a massive push up, and we are still respecting this level or range here. So for me, until we've broken this, I will still, be bullish. Even though if we look at, various time frames, it might not look like it. But overall, I'm still bullish on this, even though we can see that the short term, the current price action is bearish. But looking at the overall structure, for me, it's not bearish. So this, for me, I just see as a corrective move, price correction, so that they can potentially continue higher. Also looking at how much institutions have been buying into the market, price has, from that perspective, will eventually go up. Not that it has to, but if there's so much money being pumped into the market and we're not seeing the results right now like we anticipated earlier this year when we started seeing, bullish order flow again, I think we will see it like early next year when all the big institutions are back and they are ready to start pumping the market. We will start seeing more money coming into the market. Also, like you mentioned last week with the Bitcoin EFTs and stuff, that's on hold. So if that gets obviously cleared and approved, then we'll definitely see, some movement in the market.
All right. Smiles, I don't know if you have something that you want to still say before we end off?
Nothing really.
All right, then good. Then guys, thank you for coming to the show. We hope that you obviously enjoy the final few days of this year, and have a look out for the reports that we're going to be releasing. Have a look at the market, stay safe, and we'll definitely see you next year. Keep an eye out on the university. It's something that you definitely would not want to miss, and you definitely want to grab a friend for this one. So guys, with that being said, please enjoy the rest of your evening, and then we'll chat again next week. Cheers.